So we had a little accident with ink just before starting to film. Oh my god, everything's gonna end up so blue. I guess our grout is better now that it has a little bit of a blue tinge on it, right? Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, La Fraise. I'm Noémie and today I want to show you a little painting supplies haul. Apologies for the sore throat and if you can hear I'm a bit croaky. So I already know in advance that YouTube is going to hate me for throwing some watercolor into a channel that's sewing and knitting. And if you are here for the sewing and knitting, please come back on Friday. I'm coming back with the regular content very soon, but watercolor is something I also really enjoy. Some of you have already spotted my paintings in the background of my sewing videos, so it's not like I'm hiding that this is also one of my hobbies. And I know that YouTube doesn't like different topics, but I'm kind of like, I still want to share this, and if this video is not for you, obviously click away and we'll see each other next time. But you know, I assume some of you have also other creative hobbies and maybe watercolor is one of them, and we can also share that together amongst the sewing and the knitting. So today I wanted to first share my material. I really wanted to start with the haul because I'm very excited. I have not opened it without you guys, but I thought actually it makes more sense to quickly show you what I do have, and then after showing you what I have, it kind of makes sense why I bought what I have bought in the haul. And so while moving all of my materials away, I dropped a bottle of ink that went all over my tiles and I cleaned it very quickly. By the time I had cleaned it, the tiles were fine because they're a bit glossy, and so I could wash them fine, but the grout has a bit of a blue tinge now. And by the time I could go back to look at the bottle, it had fully emptied. I had put the bottle in the sink and I tried to put it at an angle that was hopefully not where the crack was, but I couldn't really see the crack. So actually, by the time I had cleaned everything up and I went back to see the bottle of ink, it was fully emptied. So I'm not going to show you my ink. Actually, do I still have... No, I don't even have some ink work back to show you. I got some ink for Christmas because I was doing some value study with it. But apparently I'm no longer doing value studies. But anyway, I have quite a lot of paints that I could do value study with. So it's alright, not the end of the world, but already one thing less to show you. Okay, let's just take things as they come in the pile. This is my beautiful me-made paintbrush wrap that I love. I originally used to tie this in a little pretty knot, but I already can't be bothered anymore, so I just wrap it around like this. I mean, if I had to move with it, I would tie it in a knot. And you might be able to recognize this beautiful fabric, which is the viscose from Liz Taylor. And inside I have my paintbrushes. So I actually made this getting inspired from an Etsy store. I kind of looked at the measurements and copied it. They used a bias binding all around. I wanted to bag it out because I really like the look of it. As you can see, I used lots of my scraps, so it's a little bit multicolored inside, but I really don't mind it. It really makes me happy. I also realized it's the pants I'm wearing today. It's the same fabric. But so in my wrap, on this side I have a mechanical pencil, I have a dark gel pen, and then afterwards all of my paintbrushes from smallest to biggest on this side. My smallest brush is a size 2, I have 4, 6. I'm not gonna show you all of them. They're mostly Princeton. I have some Velvet Touch, I have some Heritage, and I have one Neptune, which I don't like as much. I much prefer round brushes than Petit Gris style brushes. And I have one like this to do bigger surfaces, but so that's it. Some brushes are hiding down here. Please reappear. That's my cheapest brush that I use for less precious purposes. And if you come out, this is a Lavis paintbrush. Oh my god, my hands are so dirty, I'm sorry. I would say my most used brushes are the very small one for details. I also used a lot this one, the Princeton Snap in 10, and the Perla Escoda in 14. If I were to make it again, I would make it shorter because, as you can see, none of my brushes reach the top, and so it's actually quite big for the needs I have of it. I think it's still good to have at home. It also has, as you could see from the close-up, 2 different layers, so you can put a brush at the front and a brush at the back. I don't need quite so many spaces at the moment, but it's nice to know I have a bit of room to grow. But what I would really like is to make a much smaller one with maybe 8 spots to take traveling and make it a lot shorter. I would make it this size, which is my tallest brush, and this way I can travel with something that's kind of like just the right size and not extra big or anything. By the way, if you are like me, a sewer painter, I will film the process when I make myself a new one. I'm also making one for a friend. So if you want to make yourself one of these, I will give you all the instructions in that future video when I make it. In the least exciting round, I have some Scotch tape that I use to, it's masking tape. It's not proper paint tape, but it's from the brand Scotch, and I use that to tape my fabric around the edges. I think that is cheaper than buying actual paint tape. I have some white gouache for the elements that need to pop out. So if you know a little bit about watercolor, you know that you can't really put light colors on top of dark. So I have the white gouache to kind of like help me get out some lights if I have the need to. The only paint I have in tube is Permanent Rose from Winsor & Newton. It's not my favorite pink actually. I really wanted an opera pink and I thought that this was kind of the same. It looked similar on the color chart, but then in practice it's really not an opera pink. So I'm kind of just trying to use it up to then not have this anymore. I think that if you have an alizarin crimson, you don't really need this as well, the Permanent Rose. I don't really see the added value of having this one. I think an opera pink is a more different pink. I have a small paper pad with normal cellulose paper, so I can use this and not feel too bad about using expensive paper. And that's for sketches or, you know, studies, thinking. I have a whole bundle, here of random sheets of paper that I have from end of blocks of all sorts, and I really use this as my draft paper, thinking, doing a first sketch, doing a thumbnail, etc. I have my good paper. This is the block I'm keeping the paper in, but this is not Canson paper in it anymore. I'm just using this because this has a nice thick cardboard back, so I feel like everything stays very safe in this. But in it is actually some cotton paper, and I will show you which one in a second because I ordered more of it, but I cut this myself. And I have one block that's actually quite big. It's bigger than an A4, and this is cellulose as well. And I know, like, I know it's written just here that it's 100% cellulose, but when buying it I didn't really realize it was cellulose, so I find that it's just very expensive cellulose paper. The good thing about it, I'm trying to think, there's not so much to say, but the one good thing is that it is stuck all around, so you don't need to tape it at all, and then you can just rip the sheet off once you finished painting. So it's all glued on all sides for you. But yeah, I was a bit disappointed to realize this is not cotton paper, because I find that cellulose paper is really not as nice to paint on. And by the way, if you struggle with your watercolor painting, my number one tip: try cotton paper and you will feel like you've already improved so much just by changing your paper. I have an old museum past card that I know used to do some card work. So if you've done a bit of watercolor, you might know that sometimes it's nice to rub cards against your watercolor. So this is my card of choice, and I have cut it to have a pointy edge, and I have a rounded edge here, and I have the surface here for actual work. So this is my card. I have 2 notebooks so far. One is coming in the haul. Those are also cellulose paper, which is why I'm not the biggest fan of them. But in this one I have all of my flower work. So kind of every time I learn a new flower, I paint it in here. And this is kind of like my little registry of all the flowers I can do. So if I want to rethink about flowers, I can just flick through this and these are all my flowers. And this one is my architecture notebook. So I have little houses I have liked in Brussels in here. I've tried different styles. This didn't work too well. Yeah, and this one as well. But again, well, first I find it a bit small, this size. I need space to express myself. So I find that it's a little bit small to paint on this. And also again, cellulose paper. So I feel like I'm already not the best painter. My gosh, I should have started with this. I'm a very, very beginner painter. I have been painting for a year and a half. It really doesn't come naturally to me. Most of those I follow it from YouTube tutorials. I just want to say, if you're a beginner watercolor artist, I'll call you an artist for free. I now have this wall as kind of an encouragement to myself to believe that I can do this, but I really spent a whole year of this year and a half of painting. I think I spent a whole year suffering through painting, feeling like I wasn't good enough, like I just wasn't good. I didn't deserve good material and everything, and then I kind of like persevered. I did several online courses, I followed a lot of YouTube tutorials, I did some in-person courses, and you know, sewing kind of comes naturally to me. I think I'm not naturally gifted, but it kind of clicks and works for me in a way that's easy. And painting has not been easy, and I don't think to this day I'm a really good painter at all. Between what I would like to do and what I'm doing, there's a really, really generous gap. But I'm enjoying the process, and I'm enjoying being a beginner at something. And I just wanted to give you the authorization, if you needed it, to suck at watercolor. If you suck like me, we can suck at it together, as long as you enjoy doing it. I mean, we don't need to be amazing at everything we do, and it's really tempting, and especially now that I'm putting this online, I feel imposter syndrome plus, but really, I think just go for it. Enjoy what you're doing. If you're enjoying to paint, please paint. I do, and you can certainly do it too. All that to say, being already not the best painter, using cellulose paper makes me feel even worse. So I'm not feeling super happy about this, but I'm gonna keep using this notebook as kind of like working notebook to maybe do first sketches of things, or like bigger thumbnails or thinking. I will obviously use this. I have a placemat, which is plastic. We originally bought this to put under Milo's water bowl, thinking that it would be cleaner, but actually it just made more of a mess, so I took it for myself. So when I tape my paper, I tape it on this way I can take it around and move it. It's really practical. And when I use the technique, when I put water on both sides, then I stick it on here as well, and it's very practical. So very useful placemat that I use a lot. Something I've never used, but it has integrated my painting material today. I wanted a desktop easel, because there are some paintings that you have to do at an angle for the water to drip down, and I have tried to use this as an angle, but this absolutely doesn't work. So I've tried to put it kind of like this, propping stuff under here, but because it's soft, it doesn't stay straight, and so I couldn't paint at an angle with this. And I was like, oh, it's really annoying. Like, I don't really want to buy an easel that's, you know, like even a desktop easel, it's at least 50 euros. It feels like a lot. Like, I didn't know what to do. I was thinking, like, what could we have at home that I could use as an easel? Guys, we literally have this at home. This is my wife's, but she doesn't use it at the moment, so I can actually steal it. This is literally exactly what I need. It's 35 degrees, like leaning 35 degrees as well, which is exactly what I want. Yeah, I didn't have to buy an easel. I now have this, and I'm really excited to do watercolors where the water drips down. I have been really hoping to be able to make them for a while, and it's a type of thing, it's really frustrating. You can't test if you like it. You have to have the material to be able to do the thing. But now I have an easel, so I can paint my lovely drippy watercolor. Two more things, and then we go to the actual watercolor, which is what you're here for. We have some old glasses, no longer part of a set, so, and they're also a bit chipped, so we don't really drink in them anymore. So those are my watercolor glasses, and I don't use paper towels. I use cloth this way. You know, it's a little bit more eco-friendly, and I don't use lots of paper towels. I really don't mind using the cloth. I find that the only moment when maybe a paper towel would be nicer is when you really want to do maybe clouds by removing the watercolor, you know, by scrunching up and doing like this. Doesn't work quite as well with a cloth than it would with a paper towel, but I use it mostly to dry my brushes, so this is perfect. So I will show you my palette in the order I got them. So I have the palette that I feel everyone has, the Winsor & Newton small palette here, and this one has already had quite a nice life. I have swapped the white for the permanent rose that I showed you earlier in the tube. Actually, now I kind of want to put the white back in here and to put the rose somewhere else, but I need to first finish the pink that is in here. As you can see, I've kind of hit pan on most of them, and those are the painted that came originally in this palette. But I will show you in a minute how I'm planning to refill it. I really like the mixing spaces here. I found that they're really good size, so I'm really happy with this. And I really like how compact this palette is. I find it super good to go around. It's a perfect size. I really, really enjoy it. And actually, if I could have two of those to store my painting, that would be my ideal scenario. You will see what I have, but like, I feel like this is so small, it's perfect. And also, the colors are nested. They have a bit of space around, so I find that you can put your paintbrush and kind of move around and you don't send watercolor everywhere. I feel like you have a bit of space. So I've been really enjoying the layout of this palette and I really like it. The second palette I got in Australia, and this is a Derwent palette, and it's all pastel and there's white in all of them. So when you mix them up, if you are used to watercolor, you can really see that there's white watercolor in all of them. Okay, my master plan at the moment is to have only those two palettes as my working palettes, all the basic colors in here and all of my extra colors in here. So when this is going to be empty, I would then just put from the tube the different colors I want to keep having as my extra 12. And then my third palette, which is the one I don't want to keep because I find it too big, I find it too heavy. I like just to compare. And with this one. And also I really, and that's gonna be just really weird, but I don't like the metallic-y sound that it has. It just, I realize that I sound a bit crazy to be like, I don't like that it sounds metallic, but it's true. I don't like that it sounds metallic. The thing I thought I would like is the very big mixing spaces that you have here. But also, if you see, compared to the other ones, there's no space around your pens. So when you put your paintbrush in there, you don't really have space to move around. Let me show you once more for comparison. I hope you can see that in this one here, there is more space to move your brush around because the pen is nested into the palette, when here it's kind of like floating around and you don't have space to move things. I don't like it as much. All of the paintings up here that are not open are actually the professional versions of those ones here. So this is the master plan. As those ones run out, and those are the student versions of the colors, I'm swapping them for the professionals that are coming from this palette. And so the colors that I have down here would be my extra colors that one day I would put into my extra palette, if you're following me. I hope this makes sense. I bought this palette to have all of those colors here and the one special, so it was quite cheap to acquire all the colors from my first palette in the professional version. As you saw, many of them are close to needing replacing, so I'll be able to replace them with a professional. That's great. But so I hope it kind of makes sense now when I'm like, actually two of this size palette would be the best. I don't think I'm going to swatch them today. I have already swatched them, but I don't have it properly filmed for you guys. If it's something that would interest you, just let me know and I will swatch everything for you, but I'm just not going to do it now to keep things moving a little bit. Okay, now to the massive haul. You will see why this box is so big. Despite having a sore throat today, I really wanted to film today because I couldn't wait to open this and I wanted to open it on camera. So I was like, whatever, I have the sore throat, I want to open this, so you guys are coming with me. Whew, that was quite a workout to open this box. But we made it. Okay. It's a receipt which suffered a little bit during the trip. Ooh, they also gave me, I mean, I'm not sure I'm gonna use it, but they also gave me a little sticker. Well, it allows me to tell you that all of this comes from Aquarelle et Pinceau, which is a French website. Over, I think, 100 euros, the shipping to Belgium is free. So this is why I kind of like also stocked up on essentials and some not so essentials, you'll see. The box was so big because I bought new paper. And you might be thinking, let me put it down. You might be thinking, Noémie, you do not paint on paper so big. We know because we can see your paintings just behind you. Yes, but it is cheaper to buy paper this size and to rip it yourself into sheets than having to actually buy paper of the right size. Like the cost per sheet is really a lot cheaper. The Fabriano 300 grams 100% cotton. I will put on screen how much this cost me per sheet and I will compare with the block from the same brand. You see, it's cheaper. From the last time I ordered those sheets, I kept, I think, 1 or 2 of the very big size not ripped, thinking, oh, this way if I want to make a massive painting I can. But honestly, already making, because I kind of kept several sizes. I kept one that was a full sheet, one that was half, and then I kind of kept the next halves and then halves and halves. And already making a painting that's kind of like twice the size of one of those already feels really big to me, so I think the sheets that are coming now, I'm going to rip them all into smaller sheets because I don't see myself really making big paintings at the moment. So it's always going to be time to get more paper if by that stage I want to do really big paintings. So this is the reason why I did an order. And it's the type of things I try, you know, when things are on special and you're like, I need to buy it now straight away, blah blah. I tried not to be that person, and I tried not to buy it too quickly because it was on special. I was like, it's on special, but the website said it was on special until early June, and I wanted this for holidays early June, so I was going to order it, you know, end of May. But then I saw that the one I wanted, which was A4 but landscape, was already gone. I really would have liked landscape, but it was gone. But I was like, I can't miss on the portrait one, so I have now bought portrait. And what this is, so you've just seen the notebooks I have. This is a notebook, but it's cotton paper inside and it's A4. And what I'm picturing doing in this is kind of like the paintings of my holidays. We go just a weekend in the Netherlands in June, and then during the actual holidays, we don't do a big holiday this year. We kind of like go around all the weddings we have, and we go to 3 different places for a few days each. And I'm kind of wanting to recall all of the holidays in this notebook, and for this to be my holiday notebook. So I really wanted cotton paper and something a bit bigger. It's called Press, which I do very much like. It's matte, which I like. What I am worried about is that it's fine. I kind of like my paper to have a little bit of tooth, and I'm just worried that this is going to be maybe a touch not toothy enough. Oh no, this is nice. Oh, this is perfect. You can see nice toothy fabric. Very, very excited. That's exactly what I wanted. The notebook is 250 grams, and that's 60 pages in A4. You know what? Actually, I think I like this even better than landscape. I thought I wanted landscape. Sorry if you can hear the dog running around, but I'm really happy with this. I'm pleased to a very high degree. I will actually just let you know. So this is, oh my god, don't ask me to speak German and to read this to you, but I will link it in the description, because if you are based in France or Belgium or a country nearby, it is still on special at Aquarelle et Pinceau, and so you might be able to get it on the discount. So this notebook, the A4, was 36.80 instead of 46 euros. So it's 20% off. That's 10 euros saved on the notebook. So I find that it's really worth it. Knowing that notebooks that are made fully of cotton are really expensive, I thought that at 36 euros it was really a bargain. And that makes me really excited to go on holidays and to paint all of the beautiful things you're gonna see there. I'm sorry, my throat is really giving up now. Ooh, what is this? They sent me a tester that is... Oh, they couldn't have given me a better tester. This is quite a lot as well. This is a full pan. It goes the whole way. Oh my god, I'm so excited. I almost bought. It's from Derwent. It's the same as this palette of mine. It's the same brand. Okay, sorry, structure my thought. The excitement overcome me and I could not finish my thought. So they gave me as a little tester the shimmery gold, but you have to know that I was extremely near buying the metallic collection from Winsor & Newton, because I don't think I will really use metallics enough to warrant having a whole palette, but the metallic palette was really tempting me. I was really like, oh my god, I kind of want that palette, but I was like, being good, not buying the palette. Also, the palette's like 25 euros, and I was like, it's the perfect price for a Secret Santa, for example, so you know, trying to be good, didn't buy the metallic, and then metallic came to me. Gold is, I can't wait to test that. I am so excited. Oh my god, like last time I got like really unexciting tester, but this, yes, love it. Last thing, you're gonna be like, wow, you bought random stuff. And I did buy really random stuff. I was trying to buy the last couple of things to not have to pay the shipping, pretty much. So this is what happened, if you're wondering. I got Ultramarine Violet from Winsor & Newton. And the reason why I got that one is that I find purple really hard to mix with the pinks I have and the blues I have. I never get exactly the purple I want, so was thinking that having a purple would be useful. I also got Cobalt Violet, reminding everyone that at this point I'm just trying to get free shipping, but this one I thought would be a really good replacement for the pink in this palette. That is a really blue toned pink. Not that I'm seeing next to one another, I mean you'll have to swatch them to be sure, but I kind of thought that this Cobalt Violet would give me the vibe from this one when this one runs out. I know I have not hit pan on this at all, so it's a bit early to buy the replacements already, but you know. And then I got Olive Green. Olive Green was definitely not my favorite. I really want Terre Verte, which looks again like one of the ones in this palette. Terre Verte looks quite a bit like this green, I believe. And I really like it in this palette. It's called Artichoke, but Terre Verte is the Winsor & Newton version, and I'm really tempted by it. But it was out of stock. Different other colors that they have were out of stock. And also I'm always really drawn to the really tealy blues and tealy greens and like the blues and greens that kind of live all in the same family. But I realized that in my actual paintings, what I use is a ton of sap green, which is this one, which as you can see, my sap green is fully almost gone. When the Viridian, I still have quite a bit. And so I was like, actually, I know I bought a whole ton. I mean, I will put quickly here the ones I bought for my extra palettes. And as you can see, they turn into all sorts of tealy green, tealy blues. Like they're all clearly in the same vibes because it's the ones I like. But in my actual paintings, I use a ton of more like sap green. And so I thought that this olive green would kind of live in the same vein, green that's a lot more yellow than all of the blue ones. So here you are. This is the last one I added to my shopping cart. And this is all for my haul. If you want me to swatch those 3 new watercolors and the gold, and then if you want me to swatch also my current palette, I mean, if you want to see anything swatched, please let me know. I'm generally interested. Are some of you here interested in the sewing, knitting content and in watercolor? It's what I say for sewing, but I believe it with painting as well. You can make anything. But with painting, it might not be quite as pretty as you thought it would be, but you can make anything anyway. It's going to be the way it's going to be, and just trust the process. Enjoy yourself. That's really what I want you to. Yeah, maybe for the end of the painting videos, we're not gonna say you can make anything. We're gonna say, enjoy yourself, enjoy the process, have a great time, learn, evolve, and enjoy all of the pretty colors. I will see you in the next one. Bye!